Greetings, everybody. This is the fourth episode of this course that we are having on our YouTube channel, A Coder's Journey, which is all about implementing the CQRS pattern using the mediator library in a web API application using ASP.NET Core. So we're going to continue talking about the application. We're going to navigate to the branch that I've got for episode number 4, right? And we're going to see what we are going to implement. So I highly recommend that you watch the videos like in order, right? Because what we talk about in each episode is kind of based upon the topics that we have discussed in the previous episodes. So if you want to fully understand what we are talking about here, you'd better watch the videos in order. So episode number 4, data store implementation. So this section focuses on creating a data store to simulate database interaction. So having a database is like a very common feature of an application. Because the focus of this course is not databases, EF Core, and so on, we're going to take things very simple. We're going to have like an in-memory database. I don't know whether you have worked with in-memory provider in EF Core or not, but with an in-memory database, many of the complexities of, managing like a database, migrations, data schemas, and things are going to get abstracted away. Of course, I could, use like a SQL provider, SQLite provider, but I decided to go with an in-memory provider. Then, of course, we are going to need some entity classes. So again, if you want to know more about how to, model your domain, how to respect and follow the practices coming from domain-driven design, there are some courses on my channel about all of these topics. But here, again, because the topic of this course is not domain modeling, is not like clean architecture, I'm going to take things very simple. I'm going to create only this, class for now, which has like 2 simple properties, ID and name. And I know that in terms of domain modeling, this is not a very good design. But I told you, this is not the focus of this playlist right now. If you want to know more about domain modeling, the best practices, there are some other videos and courses on the channel that you can use. Anyway, so we're going to create this employee class, right? And this class creates like basic properties for an employee. And then we're going to create this fake data store. So fake data store, I think here I talked about an in-memory data store like in-memory database using EF Core. That is not the case. So in this episode, in this playlist, we are not going to use EF Core at all. Neither the, in-memory data provider, nor, like SQLite, SQL Server, nothing. What we are going to do is to create this class, which is called fake data store. So fake data store basically maintains a list of our employees, right, inside of the memory, and then it allows us to fetch some employees from that list, to add some employees to the database, to this data store and whatnot. So basically, as you can see, I've got this constructor. I'm populating the list with some random employees, and then I've got different methods. So think about this as like a repository, if you will, combined with a service class, a repository that is communicating with a database, and then a service class that is using that repository to allow us to work with some, data, like adding employees, getting employees, updating employees, and so on. So again, I'm telling you, because the topic of this course is not data access, databases, EF Core, I've decided to implement things in very simple, take a very simple approach for implementing this data access layer, because I want to focus more on the CQRS part of things. So again, the get all employees, you can go over the code yourself inside of the project. It is basically, as the name suggests, it's going to return all of the employees inside of the list. And then we've got get employee by ID. And then we've got this event occurred that we're going to use later when we talk about notifications. So I don't want to bore you with these lines of code. I'm going to show you what I've got here inside of my project. So if I navigate to episode number 4, so you see that there are different things that are implemented here. For example, this is the employee controller that we already have, right? And if I go to the models, I've got this model class, employee, that I showed you. Then inside of the data, I have got this fake data store. So this fake data store, as you can see, it is like a very simple class with a private static generic list. It has this constructor populating the employees list and some methods. Adding an employee, getting all employees, get an employee using its ID, right? And then another method called event occurred that we are going to use later when we talk about the notifications. So this is what we've got right now. Now let's move on to the node. So the fake data store, as I told you, simulates a database by maintaining a static list of employee objects. It provides methods like add employee, get all employees, get employee by ID, event occurred, and so on. Registering fake data store, right? So now we need to register the fake data store. So basically, we're going to register it as a singleton. As you can see here, right? Fake data store is going to get registered in our services collection. And then we're going to have the add mediator, registration as well. This is something that we implemented, that we added, I think, in the previous episode. So if I go to my program.cs, this is what I've got for my service. So, I mean, if I use this data store in, for example, my controller, then my DI, my IOC container will inject an instance of my data store inside of my controller so that, for example, I can, like fetch some employees, get some employees, add some employees, and so on. Back to our notes. This is very important, separating commands and queries. To adhere to the CQRS principle, we create 3 new folders in our project: commands, queries, and handlers. This helps organize our code based on whether it performs a write operation, a read operation, or like it is going to handle one of those operations, right? In the next episode, we're going to implement these. So basically, if you recall, CQRS stands for Command Query Responsibility Segregation. So basically, we are going to segregate. We're going to separate commands and queries. And in order to do that, what I have decided to do is to create a folder called commands, another folder called queries, and then we will have another folder called handlers. So this helps us with the separation. So when you look at your project, when you look at your folder structures, you will see that you've got this commands folder, queries folder, and handlers folder, right? We're going to populate these folders, create these folders in the next episode. But this is something that we need to do in order to better structure the different code files inside of our project. So yeah, that's it for this episode. I hope you've enjoyed watching it. Please subscribe to the channel, give this video a like, and stay tuned for the next episode, because I think the fun part starts with the next episode. We're gonna create commands, queries, handlers. We're gonna write action methods in our controller, and then we're gonna invoke those action methods, and we're gonna track how those action methods are going to create commands, queries, and then, how those are going to get handled by our handlers. Thank you so much for watching this video till the very end. I'll see you in the next one.